I know. Oh, we're live. Hello, everyone. This is Rhonda Hines. Thank you so much for stopping by to see how you can grow your business in 90 days, even for the newbie. So I'm Rhonda Hines, and I have the awesome Sarah Kay with me, and that's what she goes by because she is awesome. And, Sarah Kay, I guess we really met, what, 3 months ago? Remind me, I don't know.
Actually, I think, didn't
Seem
we
like
meet
I've
in
been knowing you
Miami?
forever. I don't know. So when we were in Miami in January, so yeah, it just seems like we jive so well. It just seems like I've known you forever. So you are awesome. That name is very befitting. And what I love about Sarah is that she's all gung-ho. She will go in and you can rely on her. We mastermind together once a week on the weekend. I said, hey, let's get together and mastermind. And we've been doing some great things. And I know I would not be where I am now if it had not been for those masterminds with Sarah Kay. And she's a musician, and I love music. I'm a former artist at heart. So maybe that's why we clicked. And I grew up in music, playing in a band, concert band, jazz band, marching band, that kind of stuff. So I can't say enough things about you. I just love you, and I can't wait to see you next week in New Orleans. God, we just saw each other last month in New
Last month we were
Orleans, so we're going to North Carolina.
Charlotte.
I'm backwards. Yeah, we just saw each other last month, so it's cool. We get to see each other so often and mastermind together. So I'm saying
Yeah.
enough. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. You did a great job. Thank
Oh,
you.
okay.
Yeah, so I'm Sarah Kay, and I'm a pretty blunt, straightforward kind of person, and I think I'm awesome, so I just tell everybody that I'm awesome Sarah Kay. Um, and yeah, that's definitely, I think, one of the reasons that Ron and I click so well, and again, thanks for having me on here, just because you're a straightforward kind of person. Tell it like it is, and I think that's so important, especially in business, because I have an online business, we're on the same team, and you don't get very far if you don't just, get to it. So I'm excited to be here to share with other people some tips and tricks on how to do exactly that, kind of quit messing around and just get right down to it. So
Yeah. I mean, because we all want success fast, right? But are we willing to do what it takes to get there fast? Are you willing to do what other people won't do and go gung ho and do what it takes so you can reap the rewards on the long end, and then start relaxing, whatever those goals and things are you willing to do that? And it can be done because we're doing it, we've done it, we're witnessing it over and over again, and people need to know how to do it because if you're looking at pretty much, say, the MLM industry or affiliate marketing or this type of industry, most people quit after 90 days. If they don't see any immediate results, they quit. That's the studies already show. I'm not making this up. The studies show that the average person would join this company and they're gung-ho and everything, and then when they don't see quick results, then they fold and quit. So that's why we're here, to let you know how you can do that, even if you are a newbie and never had any success in the field or whatever it is that you're doing. So I guess we can get started. I guess I'll start. I got into multi-level marketing maybe. It's funny because my husband said 5 years ago, but I was like, no, it's been longer than that. You kind of lose track of time when you're just trying to make things happen, right? And you have these big dreams. I want to say it's been, my first endeavor may have been maybe 10 years ago. And how I did that was I really wanted to start an online business 10 years ago, and I didn't know how. I didn't have a computer or anything. My mom bought us our first computer, and the reason she bought it because I was talking to her about I wanted to do something at home. My kids were small, so actually it may have been longer than 10 years, to be honest. My kids were small. And the daycare was expensive, before and after care, and I just felt that, and I just didn't like working for anyone. I never have. Even when I was growing up, my mom and dad worried about me because they said that, what is this child going to do when she grow up? Because she really doesn't, don't like, not so much authority figures, but rules and, and the status quo thing. I was like that even when I was little. And I always said then that I never, I didn't want to work for, well, what kind of job, what do you want to be when you grow up? What kind of job you want to get? I was like, I don't want to work, oh, you got to work, So I later, I became a teenage mom, for those who know my story, or maybe you don't. I had my child when I was 13, and that might have been some rebel in me. I was doing what I shouldn't have been doing. Let's just straight to the point. And had my child at 13. Well, all hell broke loose, and then, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. And I'm kind of going backwards. I was starting to say how I got into the business, but I wanted people to kind of understand where I came from. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, had my child when I was 13. I wasn't in an ideal home. My parents worked, but I come from a history of drug addiction, living with drug addicted brothers and alcoholic parents. So it wasn't an ideal environment, but it was all I knew. That's what I knew. And having this child at 13 even turned my world upside down even more. And that's really when I started hearing that I wouldn't be anything, you wouldn't amount to anything, you're not going to find a job, just imagine. I'm not going to even go into all of that. And hearing those things can do something to your mindset. And even though later on I finished school on time, I decided to go into the military, and I did meet a wonderful husband that I was told I would never meet, because by then I had 2 children. And we've been married coming up on 23 years now. So you had the pleasure of meeting him. And but during this time in raising our family, I still had that rebel mindset. I still didn't want to work for anyone, and started looking for a way to make money online. Well, later, my mom, when she became needed someplace to go, I was the only one with a home, place she can go, because my brothers were still doing what they did in the street all day, or they was much older than me. She needed to stay with someone. Well, even though we didn't have a great relationship, she was my mom. So she came here to Tennessee, and I really think she was trying to make up for a lot of things. So she had asked, "Oh, well, what do you want to do?" And we talked, and I was like, well, I really would like to stay home, but I don't know what to do. I don't have a computer. I can't get online. And so she buys me this computer, and I get online and start looking for opportunities to work at home. But the only things that came up were these MLM businesses, right? Work from home type things. And so that wasn't my idea of working from home, but that's all. Maybe I wasn't Googling right, or using the search engines right, but I got involved with the A company, the big A, and had some meetings, with people and things like that. And I really didn't do anything with it, to be honest, because that wasn't what I was looking for. I didn't want to go to meetings. I didn't want to meet people. Then, believe it or not, I was kind of an introvert. Believe it or not, you wouldn't know that now, but I didn't want to do that. And then I was a mom. I was still working a full-time job, so I didn't have time to go out to meetings and do parties and all of that. Long story short, 4 or 5 companies later, I'm still doing MLM things. And the biggest issues that I found, that the problems I had, they were all the same. So I don't know why I kept doing, thinking one company would be better than the other for me, because they were still built on the same marketing concept of getting your family and friends, make a list, let's get on the phone and do the 3-way calls, and have your upline talk to them. Every one of them, it was the same thing, even when you had the power of the internet. And you build a team, start building teams, and keeping teams motivated, or trying to keep them motivated and get them to parties and call their family and friends. I was uncomfortable with doing it, but that was how the company taught us how to market. So I had to tell them, well, make your list of 200 people, and let's just start going through them, get them to your house and do these parties. And so then with kids, I was out of the house. Thank God. I mean, and I have a husband, right? So he didn't say anything. He would watch the kids or pick them up from daycare or whatever, and while I was hustling trying to do this. But it was taking me out of the home. But I thought, it's only a short time. I only have to do this for a little while. Once the business starts, then I can start being at home more. So I was willing to sacrifice the 2 to 5 year plan that they said it would take, even though I felt that was too long, but I felt 2 to 5 years was still shorter than working for somebody the next 30 years. So that's how I looked at things. And then next thing I know, my kids were grown up. You know, I had been doing this and had not been able to quit my job, making a little money, but not enough to justify what I had spent and invested in the business, not only with the time, but products and auto ships. And now, mind you, my husband and I, most of the things were in the health field because we are in the health stuff. So we figured if we were going to use it, that we could sell it, you know, but not everyone is, you know, dedicated to their health the way people think they should. Oh yeah, it's great, but unless they're sick and dying, they're really not ready to commit to an auto ship. And that's where you made your money, putting people on an auto ship every month, $100, $200 a month that they will commit to, so you can get a 10% commission, right? So I had to sell millions of dollars worth of product if I really wanted to live the lifestyle that I wanted to live. So that's pretty much my story. And then, you know, I finally found something online, which is how you and I met. And if you want to go into that and introduce why you're here, but that's pretty much, until then, the success that I wanted seemed unreal, like it just wasn't going to happen. And then I stumbled upon what we found, and wish I'd known everything that we have learned here back then when I, you know, started in those companies. So that's pretty much my story. Sarah, I don't want to talk. You want to go ahead and why are you here? How did you end up here?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I haven't been as involved with like MLM type companies for as long as you have, really only the past few years, and not even that much, because what I found immediately was, like, I was introduced by a family member to a company that had a great product. It's a product that I still use because I think it's amazing, and you know, the company is great, and so I was all really excited about this opportunity to not only have this great product, but to potentially make some, you know, residual income off of it without it being, you know, like a traditional job. Because similar to you, like I grew up thinking, well, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. Like, I didn't envision a 9 to 5 doing somebody else's paperwork. You know, that's not my idea of a good time. So I always knew it was gonna be something different. So I was really open to this other type of opportunity. And so I was excited about the product. I was excited about the company, and you know, I was able to meet some people who had a lot of success with that company, and so I could see, you know, that it did at some point work. But as soon as I really started to look into it, say, okay, how do I actually work this as a business? That's when I was told the same things that you were told, Rhonda. It's that, you know, you have to you literally have to make a list of your friends and your family, and not just the people that you talk to now, but the people that you've ever talked to in the past 10 years. You know, like, I have friends from high school on my Facebook, but I don't talk to everybody. It's just to kind of watch them, and I'm sure they feel the same way about me, so I don't feel bad saying that, but because that's kind of what we do online these days. You know, we're connected to a lot of people, but they're not necessarily people that we're on speaking terms with, and the last thing I want to do is hit up somebody I, you know, last saw 5 years ago and try and sell them something, even if I think that it's a great product. That's not how it works in face-to-face conversations, at least not for me, and I am fairly extroverted, generally social person, but that doesn't mean I'm comfortable striking up conversations with random people in supermarkets either. And so I would find it, even when I tried, put real effort into it, I found it really difficult to find people that I was comfortable talking to, because they weren't my friends and family that I was bugging. But then, how do you start a conversation with somebody and direct a conversation to, hey, you should buy this thing because it's good for you, when you've never met them before? So it's difficult either way. And then the calls as well. And I totally can appreciate that, when you have somebody who knows more about the business that you're in, who has had more success, that we're going to talk about that in a little bit, that you can leverage that. But honestly, I hate talking on the phone. I really do. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I don't have the body language cues, and stuff like that. And I don't know. I've never been a fan of it. And so the idea of having to go talk to people that I don't know, when I'm off and about somehow without my 5-year-old son, I was like, I have no idea how that's going to happen. How am I going to maintain a conversation when I have my 5-year-old in the supermarket with me? That's not realistic for me. I don't know about other people, but
yeah,
and then
walking up to strangers and, hey, you keep your options open. I mean,
Oh, and I wasn't even talking about, trying to build a team, which is the other huge way that people, make money in MLMs. I was just trying to think about, how do I even talk about the product to people? So, and then to have to get them on the phone for them to believe what I'm saying because I'm new, that was really frustrating for me, especially since, again, I believe in the company, I believe in the product and stuff like that, but that's just not how I wanted to do it. And so, just like you, finding the Rebel marketers and the system that we use now was amazing. I'm heavenly light shine down and there's music playing in the background. It was the best thing ever, because this is how I want to do it, and online marketing I don't know, maybe career is not the right word, but it's a whole skill set in and of itself. And so the idea that someone who's brand new can use the same strategies but use some leverage of some people who are already successful, that's huge. That's amazing, because I'll get to the point where I'm an expert. I'm already kind of an expert in some things, but not everything. So yeah, leveraging things that already exist, not having to reinvent the wheel or blaze your own path if you're not ready for that, that is super, super valuable. So I think that, that's really what we're getting into today, right, Rhonda?
Yeah, and it goes, and I want people to understand that although we're with somewhere, the Rebel marketers, this goes for any type of business that you're doing. So we're not here to talk about the Rebel marketers, but what we're going to talk about are tools, systems, and things that you can do this in whoever you're with. So that's what we're here to talk about. So you kind of alluded to a little bit. So I'm a newbie. I hear this all the time. Well, I can't do what you do, or people don't listen to me because I don't have any success. People won't listen to me. I haven't done anything yet. I haven't made any money yet. And I've been there, done that, and that was always the fear starting all the many companies that I tried. I was always starting over and having that issue. So what would you say as a newbie, what do you like best about the system that you use, and how you were able to, before you had success, leverage other people's success? Give an example of that.
I really like that the system that we use really encourages leverage. There are a lot of other trades and industries where all your trade secrets and the ways that you got success are really kept hush-hush, because if other people found out, then you wouldn't be as successful or something like that. There's a fear in a lot of other industries about, I don't want to share how I got successful because I don't want other people to steal my way or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're really surrounded by an industry in general that's let's duplicate, let's help everybody get success. And here's what I do, and here's what I do, and all these different strategies and things like that for us to model after. And it's like you were saying, this is really applicable to any company. And so I also am hesitant to say, oh, there's only one strategy, because there's not, right? We see people in all sorts of different businesses using all sorts of different strategies too. So no matter what it is that you decide to model, like, you have so many options, and like, we're really encouraged to model after somebody who's already having success.
Yes, until until you know what you're doing and things, because you're a newbie. That's the point. You want to do it right. And you want to also, when you're bringing in team members, want them to see the right way of doing things, and not you. If you're not so sure of how to do things the right way, you don't want those bad habits to spread to new team members, and then they pass it on and pass it on. So you want to do it the right way. And so some of them, go ahead.
Like you mentioned earlier, there's a huge thing in the MLM industry where you get in, and if you're not set up for success right away, like, it's super discouraging to be in a company for, a month, 2 months, 3 months, and not have any even small wins to go, okay, yes, I'm making progress. So, otherwise you're just sitting there. Right. So you get a team member who, and if you don't have anything for them to leverage, because they don't have any success, they're going to get discouraged real quick. Like, I know that's how I felt initially.
You mentioned
my other company.
You had mentioned about I forget, it made me think about when I was with another company before in marketing. Okay, so of course we do all of our marketing and everything online. That's how we do it, and we use systems that work for us even when we're not working. And that's the other thing, is that we make money in our sleep, right? You wake up and you got a commission, and you can't, that's very hard to do unless you, with the other structures and the way other things are, you have MLMs, you make money when you have parties. They just say, well, I want to make $10,000 a month, and then they tell you, well, have more parties, right? Well, I want it, and I'm stuck at $10,000 a month. I want to get to 20, and then I will have more parties. It's like, I'm only one person, and so that's how I got into online. I was in a multi-level marketing business, and this is what really kind of made me go, oh, okay, to me, it didn't sit right with me. I needed another way to duplicate myself, and of course that is online. So I took 2 ways to grow my business online. That's exactly what I Googled, and found this company. And but before then, I had we got together with a few other people that was on my team. We did like a co-op, and we started running radio ads, and we got our hands slapped for that, right? To running radio ads. The company did not want us to run radio ads, did not want us to do a TV ad, and then they used the FCC as a reason to say, well, we have these guidelines. We want to make sure everyone is following the legal rules and things don't get out of hand. But my immediate leader that was above me, that was in my area, that's how she got exploded her business. But it wasn't a lot of people in it then, right? But as the company grew and things started really just growing really big, they had to harness people in, and didn't want all. But that's what you go on YouTube and you Google the TV ad or whatever, and there was her TV ad, her local TV ad that she did on local TV, and that's what because when I asked her, well, what did you do? How did your business? She's like, well, I did TV and spent some money on TV and radio ads, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna do that. But by then it was like, oh no, you got to get approval through legal. We had to keep all of that, and then this really didn't make sense to me. It was like, well, everyone is not able to invest that type of money, so we want to grow the business the way everyone can. What did they say? We want it to be duplicatable, what you do, and everyone cannot place an ad, a place radio ad. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's their damn problem. This is what I'm doing. If they really wanted to grow their business, they'll grow it the way they need. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not lying about the product. Everything is on the legit. And that's when I said, well, well, this really is not my business. This is still their business. I'm in a business for myself. So I say all that to say, with leveraging other people's success, how do we do that now? They're sharing everything that they did. They're saying, this is how I did it. If you can do it this way, if not, either you're going to invest the time or the money. But this is what I did step by step. I'm not holding anything out. Follow this system. And here is, so how do we do that? How do we leverage them? We use their stories. For example, they give us, we're online, they give us a list of emails. They say, use these capture pages until you know what you're doing. We know this works. We already know this works. You don't have to go recreate the wheel. Do this right here. You bought into the system, and then just tell the stories of our success. Get people to our videos, and we'll sell for you. That's how we're leveraging other people's success. They have the success, so get them here and just have a link to where if they decide to buy, you get credit, but we'll do the heavy lifting for you until you can do it yourself. So what are some other ways that we can leverage people, where people can leverage other people to grow their business in 90 days?
Well, aside from the stories and tools, which I think are excellent, and honestly I think that alleviates a lot of the major pain points that we talked about earlier, but another thing that I found has been really helpful for me is to actually make connections with leaders in my particular business, in our business. And we're in a business where we boost each other up. We share what we think is awesome about people. We share the success. And so while we're sharing, a leader's success story, if we make real connections, they are more than willing to, share our small successes when we do have them. And so that's a really easy way to sort of catapult yourself into, the success category, because as you're starting out, you're leveraging these people's tools and you're leveraging other success stories that are true, they are in your business using your products or what have you. You're going to start seeing small successes. And so then if you have other people and other leaders who are willing to share your success as a story with other people, sort of a really cool, back and forth that just helps everybody.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm going to be real clear with an example for people saying, well, what are they really saying still? How can I do it? So I'll take one of these examples. So the leader, I said that I was here in the other company, I would say, hey, I'm working with, help me with the verbiage, I'm working with a multi-millionaire leader in the area that's looking for people to help spread the word on this new product or whatever, grow a team of people in this area. And then I will go into telling a story. She used to be a kindergarten teacher here. She only made $20,000 a year, and then she got involved with this company. Now she's making $250,000 a month, just following, sharing her story. And it would be more put together than that, but just giving people an idea. And we're looking for some people in the area. Would you be interested in coming to her house, or because she hosts these parties or these events, because if you're still doing parties, you got to get them to go, whatever. So come to the leader and then get them in front of the leader, because I think as a newbie, we try to sell too much and we say too much and talk ourselves out of sales. So get them in front of the leader, whether that's at their home or get them in front of a video, if it's online, or get them on a call or something like that. And so that's how you would do it, because you don't want to lie, make up stories or anything like that. And then that's all you have to do. And then as your team grows, it's just like wash, rinse, and repeat. Then now you're put in a place, which is the second step, if you want to go into that, I guess selling and branding yourself is once you start having your successes and sharing your successes and having a team, then you are in a position now, you're a leader, now you're hosting for your team, doing calls or parties, you're helping them with that and getting people in front of you, you're sharing your story on how you did it and connecting with people and helping to motivate people that way and get them interested, and then you make your own pages and videos, which is what we do. That and wash, rinse, and repeat. Anything else you want to add about that, Sarah?
Yeah, I definitely would encourage making connections with people who are leaders in your company, because for starters, you know, we know that in our company everyone is really, really, really open. I don't know what it's like in your specific company, but if you can make a connection, you don't have to ask a top leader for a bunch of their time, but just say, hey, you know, can I friend you on Facebook so that I can see what you're doing and model after you? You know, most leaders are more than happy. That's really flattering, you know, to get someone who says, can I watch you, and, you know, sort of take my own, you know, information from that. That's a great way to get, like, you know, firsthand, you're seeing what they're doing. And when you make a connection, then you have permission to model that, not to, you know, jack all their stuff and plagiarize them, right? We don't want to do that. We're not going to lie and make stuff up, like we said, but to have something specific to model, and do that with multiple people. You know, make multiple connections, because maybe what one person is doing isn't going to work for you as well as it worked for them. And then when you make that connection, like you were saying, Rhonda, when you get to kind of step 2, you know, when you start to have small successes, have that person kind of edify you in return. You know, just say, hey, I did this really cool thing. You know, maybe I hosted my first live webinar. Can you say something nice about it on my Facebook, or just something really simple like that? But definitely make the connections, guys, because you have to get around people who have success to see what that looks like, you know, to get ideas to actually model, and then to have connections that you can bounce off of. And that's really the I think the most direct way to get success quickly if you're brand new.
You mentioned a leader edifying you about your first webinar or something like that, which I think it takes me back to, I want to say last year, after coming from Austin and meeting, I mean, we were up to 3 or 4 in the morning. It's like, I've been in companies where, yeah, the leaders were accessible, you know, but hanging out at the bar with you, kicking it, you know, to 3 or 4 in the morning. I mean, just regular people. We know they're regular people, millionaires, you know, and then they tell you, hey, what's your Facebook? Send your Facebook. And then I remember when we came back and started doing Hangouts, I was like, you know, what if I send them an invite? You know, I thought it would be cool if I could have this million, you know, they're making 30, 40,000, 50,000 a month and 100,000 a month. I'm going to invite whoever and see if I can get any of these leaders on my call. That was the most badass call ever, because I had 3, the co-founder's wife on my call. You know, it's like, she just popped in. She sent me a message. She said, I'm available. You know, I'm like, wait a minute. This is the not the owner of the company, but his wife is on the call. You know, and a couple other leaders, and it was just, and every week we just started doing them, and it was different. If they're available, they'll pop on. It's, you know, they might say, well, I have a team call. I could do it. You know, Justin popped in late. Him and Dee, he had got my invite, but he was on his call with doing his team call, and at the end I get a Facebook message that we're trying to get in. What's the link? I was like, holy snap. You know, so they get on, and that goes back to
That's
edifying
perfect.
you, and, you know, it goes back to being edified and, you know, doing their thing. And they didn't have to do that. You know, they didn't have to do it. So
But you made that connection,
right.
you know, that initial connection, and I think that don't underestimate that, guys, you know.
So get with your leaders, and you know if that's a place where you're being edified is going to get you to, if you're in the right place. If you feel that you're in the right place, these are just some extra steps that we know that helped us to, just reach out to them. So what else we got? I guess after you get success and everything, this is when stuff really start getting fun, when you get all the systems into place, your tools and resources. Things just start to multiply quickly once you get, and this is when you can look at focusing on multiple streams of other income, because now you know how things work. But I don't encourage that until you want to be 100% focused on your primary business, until that's up and running, because if you're not, you're never going to reach the level that you want to reach before you start, being distracted by other things. So I just say focus, focus, focus. And most of all, I would say don't quit. I quit several times, and maybe I quit and to get here. Maybe this is exactly where I needed to be had I not quit, here. So, but it wasn't speaking to me. If what you're doing is not speaking to you, don't feel like you're quitting or giving up. Just understand that you're not resonating with whatever it is that you're doing. It's not that you're quitting, but you need to find something that resonates with you. And that's what I found here with the Rebel Marketers. You want to add to anything to
that? Definitely want to reiterate leverage. Leverage. When you get in, don't reinvent the wheel. I get myself into this occasionally when I'm getting into something new, as I spend a ton of time trying to figure it out from ground zero instead of leveraging something that's already in place. And you're not going to create success by, constantly watching training videos or something like that. It's important to learn, but don't let the learning stop you from doing. And that's where leveraging somebody else's story is really powerful, for example, or leveraging somebody else's tools. So that's why we encourage you guys to do this from the beginning, is so that you don't get stuck, and end up preventing yourself from having your initial small successes, and getting discouraged. So do that. And then the other thing that you touched on, Rhonda, in your last point is you probably, you guys who are watching, a lot of what we said comes back to integrity. This is a business, no matter what MLM you're in, it's a business. Have integrity. You're going to know if you're in a company that has integrity because you're going to feel good about it. And then it shouldn't be an issue at that point, then reaching out to a leader and saying, hey, do you mind if I watch what you're doing? But have integrity. Don't go around stealing people's stuff. And, if you're in a company that doesn't make you feel good, doesn't make you feel like it has integrity, they're not open about what they're doing, they don't want to help you. We're not talking about hand-holding, like I said, we're talking about can I leverage something, to help myself get my small successes. And if you don't feel like you're in that space, then don't, continue with it. Make sure that you're in a good space to start with, that you have, a good company that you're working with, or good products that you really, really feel is valuable. That's where you need to start. So maybe we could have talked about that at the beginning, but that's really where you need to start.
Or even starting with why. Like, everyone says that, what's your why? What is your purpose of, doing it? So that's the time for another hangout. But but I do want to talk about, we're talking about growing your business in 90 days. The important thing is it's whatever the value of what tool you're using to grow your business with, whether it's a product or a tool or some kind of value that you're giving to some people that need it, right? So it has to be a good product, something that people will want, not just in a short amount of time, but something that's going to continue 5 years, 10 years. Is going to be a need out there for what it is that you have. I think that's very important. And the one thing I learned is marketing to everyone is marketing to no one. And that was such a big flip from coming from MLM to me, because they teach you to hit up the people in the grocery stores, network market, everybody, because you never know. Get 10 no's, right? Get 10 no's, you'll get a yes, and all of that. But I mean, I'm a human being. My ego can only take so many no's. Let's be honest. You get and it's exhausting versus figuring out a way to target the people to hunt for you and what you have versus you hunting in an ocean full of people. And that's what, so you
that sounds
are being
like a really good topic for our next webinar.
Yes.
And we can get really into that.
Right. So so we're not going to get into that. So figure out how to have people hunt for you versus you're hunting, because hunting, marketing to everyone is marketing to nobody. You have to find your niche. No, everyone does not want a weight loss product, even though they might need to lose weight. So that don't mean they want it. So what I think we're about done.
Yeah, I think we covered the really important stuff. Leverage
And edify, and of course, make sure you got to have a great product. And speaking of a great product, and you got to be able to make money fast. You don't want to be with a company that flip-flop on their commission plans or pay any commissions like 15-20%. I mean, we get 100% commission, so that's why we see so much success so fast in what it is that we do, because we get 100% commission on our residual products. So that's a great thing. But a lot of these companies, you wonder why this company was the first to come up with that. Why, I did. Like, if they can do it, why didn't these other companies offer more commission? Why are they only offering 10-15%?
Behind the times, I guess.
Yeah. And then everyone else want to jump on the bandwagon and do it. So
I'm sure there are other reasons, but that's a really, really good point, is be realistic too. Like, we're talking about 90 days, but that's just look at what you have to, whatever it is for you, whatever amount that it is for you to, let's say, quit your job if that's your goal and just do your business full time. Know what your, I hate to say it, but know what your numbers have to look like. If you're only getting a 10% commission on a, $50 product, it's going to take you a lot more work. You're going to have to get to, a higher number of whatever it is, sales or team members, and just keep that in mind.
Yeah, 100,000 people in your downline too.
That scares me. No, I mean, that would be amazing to have, but is that going to happen realistically in 90 days when you are just starting? Probably not very realistic. So.
Right. That's a great point. Thank you for that, Sarah. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful to someone out there, and I think our information is on the screen. If you want to get back to me or Sarah, our information is on the screen, and hit us up on Facebook and say, hey, saw your hangout. If there was something else we can help you with or touch on, or some other things you would like to see us train about, let us know. Friend us on Facebook. What are you on Facebook? Are you on there as Awesome Sarah K?
Yeah.
Or just Sarah Kaufman? Okay.
Well, either or. I have a fan page that I specifically post business related stuff to. Mm-hmm. That if you found this useful, or if you're looking for more, that'd be a great place to find me, or just my name. I post weirder stuff on my personal page, so be aware of that. But
yeah, and I'm on there as well, Rhonda Hines Online on Facebook, and Mrs. Rhonda Hines on my regular Facebook page. If you send a friend request there, just let me know, because I don't friend everyone, where you found me, and yeah. I love making new friends. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. Like I said, let us know if there's some other information you'd like to have that can help you with your business. Perhaps we have done a training on it already, and we can point you in that direction, because that's what we do. We try to help everyone no matter what business they're in. So thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Hold on, Sarah. All right.